Hey everyone, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and I'm here to do one last video for my How to Kill a Kit with Style January. I was using the Color Wash collection and trying to get through it. I still have a lot, but you'll see the Kill a Kit and my plans for that coming up in a couple days. But I really wanted to work with this purple paper, and there is two parts to it. Part of it is for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. I host a challenge when they do the scrap parties, and I tend to do the Friday, like a Friday challenge. And I was really excited because of my tag video that I am sharing, and it should have just been up on yesterday. I made a challenge and said take one of the questions from my take video and turn it into a layout in some form in any way. And I'm going to go ahead and use the question about, I asked what colors you wish you saw more in scrapping. And I'm going to go ahead and use that to create this layout with using now Willow Lane, right? Because Color Wash and Willow Lane go together. They do for this though. And so when I answered that question yesterday, what I said was I really wish that manufacturers would bring in more blues and yellows together, but like the darker blue, not the teal, the darker blue, with maybe a pop of purple. And then as I was looking at Willow Lane, I'm like, oh, she did that. Even though there's teal in it too, there is those colors. So I went ahead and cut out all the butterflies in those three colors there. And because I had used this collection just for a mini border on that tea layout I created for 12 days of Sparkle and Shine at the beginning of the month, I had to have a white border in between because I had gutted the paper. And so this works really well. I'm just going to go ahead and trace, not trace, but like organize where I think all of these butterflies should go. And as I'm doing this in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I saw a layout somewhere where someone did some stitching. And sure enough, it was the fabulous Paige Evans, and the photo should pop up here in just a second in the corner for you to see. And she had done chain stitching, and I'm like, oh yeah, I totally have to do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and trace just a bunch of little squiggly lines and then go in with some black thread and chain stitch all of this. And it took me an afternoon to do. It did. The other thing is that I don't use embroidery floss. Like, for some reason it's super hard to get where I am. Like, I can get the thicker one that you can't break apart, which is what I used. But embroidery floss itself is like, it's either really expensive or it's super hard to find. So I just go with what I have, and it makes my stitching tend to be bulkier and all of that, but I'm fine with it. I wanted it to really be a statement piece on this layout anyways, so it all kind of comes together. And then I found this photo of my daughter. This was from last summer, and my son, we went to the park, and my son is allowed to run because I know exactly where he's going to the water park. I know where he's going. And she wanted to catch up to him as quickly as possible, and she just took off with no fear that I wasn't beside her. She was just like, let's go. And I just thought it was adorable. I loved the photo I was able to capture of her from behind. I don't always think to take those type of photos, so when I do take a unique angle like that, I really like it. I do tend to be the one that's behind my family. Like, Sean tends to lead, partly because he's a faster walker than me, but also it just tends to be how it works, and I tend to be the one in behind and following. So this is a view I see a lot, and I want to document my view and what I see in my life and my family, and so this is how I'm going to go ahead and go about that. And then to kind of just make some definition to my layout, I went ahead with my black pen, and you saw that, and I traced just around the white, basically, so it pops out. And as I was doing that, I made a little slip of my pen and a little black mark onto the paper. So I know I have to cover that up, and how I'm going to do that. I'm not exactly sure at the moment, but it all comes together. And I'm thinking for a title, like using this Go Now Go. It's not fitting. It's not really what I want. I'm not exactly sure where my journaling's going. So I'm struggling at this moment. And I messaged Daisy and I'm like, I need a title. And she sent me like 3 different options and they were all really good. But the one that I decided to go with because it just fits so perfectly is She Flies with, oh, what does it say? She flies with her own wings. And that is so my daughter. Nora she's not afraid. She's fearless. She's not afraid of anything. She is just, it just fit her so well. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I do back my photo with a little bit more of the Color Wash collection. So I have another pop of that yellow. And then I went back into the Willow Lane collection to grab that blue frame. And again, I just wanted to highlight the color that I'm trying to represent for my challenge and get that on there. And then I wanted there to be something to kind of represent wings without being like an obvious what I'm doing. So I went ahead and took a doily and cut it in half, and I put part of it, you can see I'm putting it on the bottom, and the other part I'm going to put in between, and they're kind of like wings coming out even though they're not really. It's kind of my little hint to her having wings. I really love the way that turned out. And then because this layout is so heavily stitched and it's busy just the way it is, it doesn't need a ton. I don't do any more embellishing, but I do end up putting the year 2018 where I made the mistake with my pen, and then off camera I go ahead and do my journaling, just talking about how she's just so brave. She just took off, and I hope she always keeps that sense of exploring and not being afraid to try new things, and even though she knows eventually I'll be there, like it's okay to try your own thing and kind of that sort of thing. And so that's what this is about. It's just kind of one of those layouts about just kind of mini advice and how it's showing her personality, and I love these layouts. So I'm absolutely in love with the way this layout turned out, and I couldn't be happier with it. So here's a look at my final layout. I did add some sequins to it, and I'll see everyone soon with another video. Bye.